Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, the Smith of the Black with the Strat Time Report, and we got a couple issues we're dealing with here. So let's take a look at the SPY. So we know that we're big outside month, right? And the problem here is look at this weekly. How are we going to get out of this? Right? You're nowhere near the highs or the lows of the week. You are back green on the week. That's good. What we're looking at here on the daily is we're always compounding bars because software is going to present stuff the way it wants, right? But we're analyzing data. We're not reading a chart per se. So what I mean by that is, you know, that we have inside bars, 2 bars, and 3 bars, all right? So the thing is, if you look at these last 4 days, if this was 1 bar, these are an inside bar of that, right? We need to get out of that, right? And right now we're not doing that, right? So the thing is, we had an inside day, right? And so we poked down, stopped a few guys out, and then started coming back. The question would be question enough to be strong enough to be an outside day. A lot of things were, and now we're backing off just a little bit. If you go back to the 15 on the SPY, here's how we closed out yesterday. We had the lower lows and the higher high, and then this morning pokes up the 2-2 reversal, 2 up, 2 down to go stop all these guys out, right? And then you came back up, and here's one of the things you look for: the 2 up, the 2 down, and then boom, once you go back 2 up, these two are going to become an outside bar of that. And if that works, you're going to extend the broadening formation up. Then it stalls out. You got an inside 15 back to the downside. And we can expect that as we go back and forth, and stuck in this week, right? If you go to QQQ, in Qs, once again, you see these 4 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If these were 1 bar, these are stuck in here. We got to get out of here. Right now, you can look at this weekly. Doji, right dead in the middle. Everyone's a loser. Right? How are we going to get out of that next week? That's what you want to ask yourself. You say, self, how are we going to do that? Right? Because one of the things you'll do is you might get chopped up. What we're seeing right now. But then when the real move comes, you'll say, oh, I can't chase it now. But that's exactly when you want to get it. Right now, you can see Dow Jones Diamonds, these all inside of the. Also was an inside day, so we'll see if it's strong enough to get out of here. And now you can see this plain as day on the 15er. Whoa, let me get rid of those. If you go like so. Ah, spazzing on a Friday. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. Hey, you got the wrong one. Glad we're not in a hurry. All right, let's do this one more time. The higher high and the lower low, which means these bars become an outside bar of that on a different time frame. So you can see we're always minding that 60, right? The new 60. She's starting to back off a little bit here. All right, so we'll see small cappers. And small cappers a little worse. They poke down to the lows. The good thing next week for them, albeit Momo shooter on the week, the good thing would be this day was outside, right? That means that's a broadening formation on a shorter time frame. And now you've got your lower low. So if we were to close out like this and then come in on Monday and take this out, that would get you back into the old broadening formation, and then you'd be green on the week. But then you'd have some distance to get out of there. So right now things drying up just a tad. Apple earnings came out and holding up a little bit here. Potential outside week, so you can see the difference on the week here for Apple, right? Because you already went outside month. So if they're willing to pay up and sell down, they might do it again. So you got your stop out. You have your inside day to the upside, right? And then if you go down to the 15, you can see this. Here's what we're looking for right out the chute. Hammer, counter, shooter. 2 up, 2 down. Boom, that gets you in. And if that works, it took the inside 30 to the upside. All right, now just kind of stalling out with a lot of things. If you go to Tesla, and Tesla's, here on the daily, you're going to see this. Remember, this is how you get the short side. 2 up, 2-2 reversal. Boom, down she goes, and then these two are going to become an outside bar of these two, and then it does it again here on the opening. So you've heard me talk about going down to the smaller time frames, the more volatility you have. And so here on the opening, you're going to see this. The 2-2 reversal off the opening. That was real nice here. That was 2 down, 2 back up over 81.10, and it rallied about 810.81, rallied all the way up to here. 857.50. Now backing off a little bit with the market, so we'll keep an eye on that. Just want to be able to point out so you can get some of this stuff. Then on the gap list, PODD. And PODD, this was real nice. So it was two down kicking pattern because this is mostly red when it gapped up into here. It goes up, backs off. You could have taken this on the short side. Two up, two down in the 15. Then it goes inside. Then you can reverse and get long. Right? Off she goes, and if that works, created the inside 60 to the upside to take out the highs, to hit magnitude right there. See? A bunch of nice trades there. If we go to AFRM, and AFRM just had a nice opening here. We're looking for it to go 2-2 on the day, which it did, and now stalls out with the market, but had a nice move here on the opening. Still, like you can see that weekly, still doji. So coming into next week, a lot of these things are going to be who can take out the highs or the lows of the week. Go down to a 15er. How'd that doing here? A little fast, but you can see that right here, inside in the 15. Off she goes. If we go to Coop, and Coop, just like the SPY, stalling out here a little bit. We'll see if we can get in here. Sets up the Rev Strat day, which would be an inside day, then down, just like the SPY. The question is going to be able to one bar Rev Strat and take out these highs in the afternoon. Right now, market fading though, so we'll see if that sets up because we know how good that Rev Strats were this week in the SMH on the downside. Inside, up, boom, and they hit almost everything, right? So we'll be keeping an eye on these to see if they do go outside days on all these inside days, or are they set up for Monday. If you go to VRTX, we like nice long red and green bars, right? There it is. That's a nice green bar, and you see that following through, taking out last month's highs. It goes outside on the week, so you got a little bit of exhaustion risk, but then here, 15. So this was technically a 2 up, but it's red. What that means is that on a shorter time frame, you had corrective activity. It sold off. So there was your pullback. When people say to pull back, boom, right there, inside in the 15, and off she goes. We'll see if there's anything more there. We had Visa come out with earnings and just kind of stall out a little bit, but still doing the creeper. Gets your outside week. It's also 2 down, 2 up on the month now. All right, it was a little choppy in here. You did have an inside 15er here, though, and that tells you to look at MA. Right, MA a little stronger. Right now trying to go outside, inside 15 to the upside. Taking out yesterday's outside day, which means they sold down and paid up. So this selling is still being rejected and coming back through this range, looking to go outside week here by the end of the day because you got that monthly working as well. If you go to FICO, there's a nice long green bar for you, outside week, right? And so once again, when we look for the outside bars here, took out the highs and the lows, did it twice on the weekly. This was an outside bar, and so was that. Then inside, and the magnitude was to take this out, which it did, right? But then that gets rejected, and you're back into broadening formations here. So when this starts racing back through here, you're looking to take that out for sure, right? Which it did. And then you get yourself a nice inside 15er here and there. So far, inside 15 again, it's still going, FICO. If you go to RH, and RH already had a nice morning, now coming back in a little bit. Still tight on that week. But if you go to the daily, one thing you're going to look for again, outside bar, took out the highs and the lows, ticks down, wasn't weak enough to get out of this outside bar. And now, so we'll be looking for signals once above 390. Right, it got there very briefly, but if you can break that, then you're back into these things. All right, so we'll see. That could set up for next week as well. If we go to ServiceNow was on the gapper list yesterday, and you can see this came back in. All right, and then outside bar. Once he starts coming racing back through there, and there was your inside 15. Now just chopping around, I can hear because it gave you the outside week. Then it just tells you to look at W day. With it in W day, you can see this here, 1 bar ref strat, 1-3. The inside day, the poke down, not weak enough to go to new lows, I don't believe. 223.61. Yes, it was. So it hits magnitude. So when you have an inside bar, you want to take out the mother bar, which is this, which it did by a few cents. And then once it comes back here and goes green, you're looking for an outside day to take that out, which you did. All right. So if we go to QDEL. And QDEL. And QDEL hits magnitude on the week. So this is 2 up, 2 down by taking that reversal, and that stops all these guys out. Right? So it hits all that kind of magnitude. And then you come in on a Friday, and you got this. 2 down going into the lows, and then boom, 2-2 reversal coming back up. Right? Very nice. A little fast on that. It also tells us we can look at some more stuff like Moderna. And Moderna gave us this. This is real nice too, like that apple. The 2 up, the 2 down, hammer, counter, shooter, and a real nice 15 minutes in there. We'll see if anything sets up over there. Again, the team backing off now. The team had a pretty rocky opening. It goes up, comes down and pukes, and then there was your inside 15 back to the upside. A little tricky on that, but this gives you that outside week. If we go to a bloodbath, and bloodbath now backing off on the 15. But once again, you can see this here. RevStrat. Inside day. Pokes down. The 1-2. Boom! And off she goes. Now backing off of the market. So we'll see, because it's still flirting with that inside month and down. So oftentimes you'll hear me say I'm looking for simultaneous breaks. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing any discernible group that's really going on any major signals. And so that's why you can expect this back and forth kind of chop stuff here like this. So SPY and the 15 are now going to look like this. It's expanded the range a little bit. How are we going to get outside of this? And how are we going to get outside of that? That's what we want to know. So the simultaneous break on the longer term has been XLE, but right now that's not happening. Right? XLE, because you have Chevron backing off. Not totally getting killed, but you can see backing off here. How's that 60? 2 down, 2 up, boom. These are going to be coming outside bar of that. You see? It's exactly what you want to look for. So XLE Energy not getting it done. Some of the big boys like Google rallied back to try the outside day stuff. But, for the most part, then we stall out, just like the overall market. Also, who it isn't is Cat. And Cat having a rough morning coming down through here. Potentially the outside month, right? So we'll see right now, things slowing down a bit, maybe a 30 in there. Inside on the 30 right now, Cat, so we'll see what comes of that. Triple M, also having some issues here. See that? Inside day to the downside puker, right? Now we'll see if that sets up again for us. Exhaustion risk by going into the recent lows. You got your outside month, so that's already hit that magnitude. In the 15, the 60. And we'll see if that goes inside on the 60. And that's telling us some industrials like Cummins Engine were coming down, now rebounding a little bit after making that lower low. Right? You're always looking for that. The higher high and the lower low, there's your broadening formation there. See if that gets any worse. We're also coming into the end of the month, right? And so we also would be looking at these monthlies, how they're setting up for next month. You can see this. 2 down, 2 up, but coming back in shooter style. If they want to take this thing back down, we'll see. RMD also having a tough one here now, potentially inside on the 60. Inside weak to the downside, having a rough one here so far. If we go to ZBH, ZBH pokes down on the 60, doesn't really go, but you can see this holding its inside day down, but all 4 of these days still in here. That's telling us to be careful, but you can see it's setting up for the potential outside month. Running out of month, but getting closer. If we go to F5, and F5, gap down, attempt to rally, and then the 2-2 reversal on the day to see if that can get any worse. Right now, cooking it inside 60. We'll see what goes there, and just a few more gold. Dropping in just a tad. You can see this basically in the month doing nothing, but you did get your outside week, and that just tells you can keep an eye on like the JNUGs and all the fun there. JNUG going into the lows, and you can see this 2 up, 2 down on the week. So we got a lot of stuff that needs to resolve. Like I just said, the 4 days here, that needs to resolve. How are we going to get outside of these weeks next week? All right, as we come into the new month. All right, that's going to do it for today. Hope everybody had a great week and has an even better weekend. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith Black, the Strat Time Report.